Yes, she has had some bangers along the way, but nothing was as powerful as that first album. And who knew it was because Biggie was around here driving her ass mad. I don't hear nobody out there. Hold it down. Not in front of the camera today, guys. I'm not feeling my best today. Okay, every time I look in the mirror, my damn chin just gets longer and longer like some kind of pelican. So, not really feeling pictures lately. It was some chick in Chicago. Who the fuck is this? I asked. She told me her name and that she had met Big at a show. So why are you calling him now? 'Cause now I'm pregnant, she said. Chi-Town, stop it, girl. I confronted Big as soon as he came home. Who the fuck is this bitch talking about she's pregnant? Big sucked his teeth. Ain't nobody pregnant by me. I told him about the phone call and he just walked away from me. Who's this girl, I asked. Just some chick I met after the show. Well, did you have sex with her? Yeah, Faye, I did. I was stunned. He just admitted without any hesitation that he'd cheated on me. And he looked me right in the eye when he said it too. This was my first introduction to how Big could be brutally, painfully honest. Ain't he a Gemini? Them people be so daggone crazed and deranged that they don't realize this is going to work against you later. I attribute him being so blatant to he is now getting the attention and love from women who he would never otherwise get. You got to be a different kind of man to be 24 years old, never, or 23, however old he is, never have had attention from beautiful women. And for that opportunity to be placed right in front of you without any payment. Just because you are Biggie. Now you can sleep with the women that you want. You expect for the men to be mature enough to know, don't get married. Could you stop with all that licking shit, Lou? Don't get married. Because the opportunity will be there. Lou, baby! Lulu. Your breath is stinking. That's like when a dude come home from jail after 30 years. It's been 30 years. If his ding-a-ling's still working, he gonna want to frig. Okay? He got a lot of frigging to do. It's a lot of variations out there that he trying to get with. I just think they were both very young and very naive to the potential opportunities that Big had. And he gonna take full advantage of it. Of course, I don't know what exactly I expected. We rushed into our relationship and rushed into our marriage. We were way too young, and he was on the verge of stardom. It was irrational for me to think that we would be a typical American family. Word. But I truly loved Big, and knowingly that he wasn't faithful hurt, even though I knew he didn't take these other women seriously. Now that's the kicker. I was mostly concerned that the woman in Chicago was more than just a fling, and Big assured me that she wasn't. He was in and out of town, still doing dates on the B.I.G. Mac tour, and I was holding down things at home. But after the incident with the first chick, things just kept getting progressively worse. Big and I had developed a dangerous pattern. He'd cheat on me. I'd find out. Then I'd curse him out and stop speaking to him. And then we'd get back together and start all over again. So one time, Faith was being a dutiful wife back home, doing her thing in Brooklyn, trying to make music so she can get her album together. Like, who knew that Faith had all this going on before her album dropped? You chasing Biggie across the world and still making music. That's why that joint is so good. Yes, she has had some bangers along the way, but nothing was as powerful as that first album. And who knew it was because Biggie was around here driving her ass mad. Anyway, Big's on tour. Her antennas was up. She gets on a plane and fly to where that nigga at. I got to Big's door and knocked. There was no response. I knocked a few more times and then I finally heard Big's voice. Who is it? He said. I had to think fast. If I said my name, he wouldn't open the door if there was someone else inside. Housekeeping, I said, adding a random foreign accent to my voice. The door opened up and there was a woman standing there. She was brown-skinned, slim, and had short, curly hair. I remember she was wearing a plaid skirt. It looked kind of like a school uniform. I pushed her back into the room, jumped on top of her, and started beating her ass. This your little friend? I screamed at Big. You think you slick. Big was sitting on the bed just watching with his eyes wide as I pushed and smacked the girl who was screaming and trying to duck for cover. Girl, you gotta know how to fight when you fucking married men. You can't just be all, oh, no, that's not gonna work. That's right, Lulu. Lulu looking at me like, yup, mama, yup. You can't be fucking no married man and not know how to fight. This your little friend? I screamed at Big. You think you're slick. Big was sitting on the bed just watching with eyes wide as I pushed and smacked the girl who was screaming and trying to duck for cover. Yo, Ma, you need to chill, Big said. I didn't even fuck her. I mashed the girl in the face and then kicked her. Yeah, well, you should have, I said. I walked out the room and back to the lobby, took a cab to the airport and grabbed the next flight back to New York. I know Big was looking at that girl and was like, so you, I mean, you got an ass whipping, you might as well get this dick now. I didn't know it then, but Big was right behind me on the next flight out. And when he landed, he was on a mission to find me and patch things up. Young love, why you wanna go away now? Big started spending more and more time at Unique Studios with Junior Mafia as they finished up their album. If he wasn't out of town for a show, he was in the studio with Junior Mafia. Sometimes he would stay at the studio really late and I'd get a call just as I was getting into bed. I'm staying in Manhattan, Big would say. Where? I got a room at a hotel. I'm coming home tomorrow. You can't just take a car home and go back in the morning, I'd ask. That's because you ladies on the internet told me that Biggie didn't have a license. Okay. That was y'all who told me that. I didn't know that. That man ain't never know how to drive. But then when I think about it, when you live in places like D.C. and New York, there's no real reason for you to have a license. The only reason why I would have an issue to it is because I don't want to come pick up somebody all the time. I'm a passenger seat princess. You can't just take a car home and go back in the morning, I'd asked. Come on, Faye, he said. We got a lot of work to do. By the time I come all the way to Brooklyn, it'll be time to come back here anyway. Fine, I'd say. I'll just sleep alone. Again. Eventually, the hotel stuff started getting out of hand. One night, Big was out of town for a show, and I ran into Chico in Brooklyn. Chico usually traveled with Big, so it was unusual for him to be around. Child, dig this. Ninjas do it all the time. Chico usually traveled with Big, so it was unusual for him to be around. Why didn't you go with Big, I asked. I did, Chico said. So why are you here in Brooklyn? Because we came back, Faye. Wait, Big is back too? Chico started to look uncomfortable, like he knew he may have gotten Big in trouble. Pause. You know how many ninjas be coming home from jail and don't even be telling the woman who damn near sponsored his jail stay? And them ladies don't even be knowing that them ninjas be home? You mean to tell me you been home for a whole month? Where you been, nigga? Where you been? With the bitch who ain't sent you a dime? Is that where you been? Yeah, he said slowly. Big is back. Well, where is he? He didn't come back to Brooklyn yet, he explained. We had a session in Manhattan as soon as we landed, and he went straight to the studio. When did y'all get back? Like day before yesterday. Big had been in town for 2 days and hadn't bothered to come home. That's how them niggas do. The infidelity issue was really depressing, and like most people who are heartbroken, I threw myself into my work. But every single fight and argument I had with Big and every single makeup, lovemaking session seeped into my songwriting for my debut album. Again, I had no idea that she had been going through this bullshit before she dropped it. I didn't even know that Faith and Biggie was a married couple until after the fact. Like, no wonder women thought that, oh, the only reason why she marrying him is because he Biggie. No. She picked his ass up when he was Dusty Biggie. Oh, this is when y'all was talking about Biggie and Faith used to screw in the studio. Sneaking into the studio to make love became a song called Give It To Me. Reflecting on what he meant to me became No Other Love. Cheryl and I drove down to Washington, D.C. to work on a song with Chucky Thompson, who lived in the area. And Big and I were going through it over the phone all the way down to D.C. Although I was there to work, I was completely stressed. I'm getting real tired of feeling like I can't trust you, I said to Big. I could hear him sighing heavily through the phone. Faye, you be making shit way harder than it has to be. You fucking anything that moves, and I'm making shit hard? Big sucked his teeth. Why you even gotta go there? You just don't understand how I feel, Big. I started to cry. Yo, Faye, Big said, come on, Ma, don't cry. You don't even care. You're just playing all kinds of games. I could hear some commotion on the other end of the phone, and someone was calling Big. I gotta go to sound check, he said. I'll holler at you in a minute. Cheryl, who had been sitting next to me in the car, rubbed my shoulder. Come on, girl, she said. We gotta get into the studio and get this song done. Puff gonna have a fit if we come back home without a song. Pause. One thing I will always put first is business. When I had a situation before with the Texan and my money wasn't right, I didn't care if that man slept with 13 bitches in the same 3 minutes. I didn't care because my money wasn't right. And my number one priority was getting my money right. So I didn't care. Hence, how I moved on from that relationship. I don't have time to be chasing no nigga with my money in. When I went into the studio with Chucky and heard the track, the lyrics practically wrote themselves. Especially considering I was still in tears. I wrote that song, You Don't Understand, in less than 2 hours, using my frustration with Big to motivate and inspire me. Now, even though Big and I had our differences, I wasn't thinking about leaving him.
Hey, do my favorite go-go song. Taking a ride on the east side. Made a left on MLK. What a beautiful day, what a beautiful day. Riding high on the west side. Looking for a hood rat to play. Won't you come out and play, won't you come out and play. Hey, taking a ride. Hey, hey, on the south side. Ooh, ooh. MLK. Hey, hey, hey. We like that good. Say what?